It was supposed to be a simple getaway. Gabriel, Luana, Caio, and Mariana decided to spend a weekend camping in a remote forest known for its secluded trails and breathtaking scenery. The location promised to be the perfect escape from the city. Gabriel, always passionate about photography and filming, was thrilled to document the trip. His camera was ready, and he had plans to capture every detail of their adventure. The first day was perfect. They set up camp near a crystal-clear stream, lit a campfire, and spent the evening laughing under a starry sky. Gabriel filmed everything, the firelight reflecting on their faces, the soothing sound of the water, and the carefree laughter of his friends. That night, while reviewing some footage, he noticed something odd. In one of the shots near the forest, there was a faint flickering light in the background between the trees. It was subtle, like a distant glimmer. Gabriel thought about mentioning it, but decided against it to keep the mood light. The next morning, as they explored a narrow, overgrown trail, Mariana stumbled over something partially buried beneath branches and dried leaves. "Guys, look at this," she called out, bending down to investigate. It was an old, dirty, and tattered backpack. Inside, they found peculiar items: a notebook with torn, yellowed pages, a rusted flashlight, and most intriguingly, a vintage video camera. "Do you think this still works?" Caio asked, holding the camera up to examine it. "Let me see," Gabriel said, taking it. To everyone's surprise, the camera turned on. Despite its worn appearance, it had battery life and, more curiously, contained a single saved video. Curiosity got the better of them. They gathered around Gabriel as he hit play. The video began with someone walking through the forest. The heavy breathing of the person behind the camera and the quickened pace of the footsteps created a tense atmosphere. The forest looked darker and more oppressive than the one they were in. "Why does it seem like they're running from something?" Luana observed, her eyes glued to the screen. The video continued, and the person filming began to move faster, frequently looking back. Nothing appeared on the footage, but the sound of heavy footsteps was unmistakable, echoing in the background. Suddenly, the cameraman stopped in front of a structure. It was an old house, its windows shattered and its walls covered in moss. The surrounding vegetation seemed to suffocate it. Gabriel paused the video. This looks like a place we passed earlier," he said. "This doesn't feel right," Mariana murmured, hugging her arms. "We have to keep watching," Gabriel insisted. In the video, the person entered the house, illuminating the interior with a flashlight. The walls were covered with strange, carved symbols, as if someone had scratched them in desperation. A loud noise echoed, and the camera spun around, catching a shadow moving at the end of the hallway. "This is terrifying," Caio said, glancing around as if expecting to see something himself. The video ended abruptly, with the person running outside. But the forest around them looked different, as if the trees had changed shape. A heavy silence fell over the group. "What if we find this place?" Gabriel asked, his excitement evident. "Are you insane?" Mariana exclaimed. But curiosity won over fear. Following the clues in the video, they set out to find the structure. As they walked, the forest seemed darker and more oppressive. The air grew heavy, and every snapped twig underfoot sounded like a thunderclap. After nearly an hour, they found it. The structure was identical to the one in the video. The cracked walls, broken windows, and overgrown vegetation left no doubt. "I don't think we should go in," Mariana said, stopping at the threshold. "It's just an old house," Gabriel said, though his voice betrayed a slight tremor. Inside, the markings on the walls were even more unsettling in person. The symbols seemed to shift under the glow of their flashlights, as if they were alive. Gabriel began filming, determined to capture every detail. "This doesn't feel right," Luana whispered, her voice trembling. A noise broke the silence. It was the same deep sound from the video, slow, deliberate footsteps echoing through the hallway. The group froze, exchanging panicked glances. "We need to leave now," Mariana pleaded, but Gabriel was too engrossed. At the end of the hallway, they found a small room. In the center, there was something not shown in the video, a circle drawn on the floor, surrounded by the same symbols from the walls. Inside the circle sat a small wooden box. "Gabriel, don't touch that," Luana warned, but he was already reaching for it. As soon as he opened the lid, their flashlights flickered, and an overwhelming sound filled the space. Footsteps, faster and heavier than before, came from all directions. "Run!" Kaio shouted, grabbing Mariana as they bolted. The path back to camp felt endless. The trees seemed to close in on them, and whispers grew louder, surrounding them as if an invisible force followed closely behind. When they finally reached the campsite, they were exhausted and terrified. That night, no one could sleep. Footsteps and whispers continued around the tents until dawn. Back in the city, Gabriel tried to review the footage he'd recorded, but all he found was static. The old camera, however, still displayed the original video, as if nothing had happened. Weeks later, Gabriel began noticing something strange. Every time he watched the video, the symbols on the walls seemed to shift, changing their positions as if alive. He knew something had been left behind in the forest, or worse, something had followed them back. Want to know more about this story and many others we still have to share? Then don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Every day, a new story comes straight from our mysterious archive, filled with tales and accounts we've gathered from various sources. Cases with stories that will give you chills. Also, don't forget to share this video with that friend of yours who loves a good mystery.